So I've been sampling vinyl for a few months now, and so far it's been a really fun learning experience, just changing the way that I make beats. You know, when I started out, I would use Splice, and pretty much Splice only, to make my beats. So in this video, we're gonna do a throwback, and I'm gonna make a beat using nothing but Splice samples. I'll give a few tips and tricks along the way for some who might just be getting started and are looking for ways to find their rhythm. And we'll talk a little bit about the ups and downs of using Splice to make your beats. All right, let's get started. All right, we're getting it from all angles today. Now you get to see how ridiculous I look with this POV cam on. So, very first thing about using Splice is that you get the sounds from your browser, and then you open the Splice app to put them onto the MPC. Honestly, I don't remember why. I think it's just a Splice problem, honestly. But yeah, so we'll do this how I would normally. So now, when I make beats now, I use these expansion packs for drums usually. I'll use like a perk loop or something like that, or a drum break to kind of add texture, and then I would throw those drums over. But since we're going old school, we're only going to use Splice. So we'll start with the perk loop. I went for 8 bars, 90 BPMs. So, and as you can see, I've put a dent into this thing. I usually go to about page 13. Unless I, have one that I really like to go back to, I'll check them, but all right, I like that one, so we'll use the credit. And it's 89 BPMs, that already said, so we're going to process it. I usually like to pitch it down or up, depending on how the sample really. It's usually down, though. And then I'll make a copy just in case. Sometimes it doesn't come out the right length. So back to main. We're going to go air delay. And the eighth is usually just about enough. And I want to tuck it, so I'm going to bring it back a couple decibels. Alright, and so since we're not using drum programs, we're going to make our own. First thing we need is a kick. Let's get ourselves a snare. Okay, now we want a hat. I'm going to need an open hat. Alright. Just for fun, I'm going to get some one-shot perks to throw up on there. Alright, I think that's all I'm going to use. Now that we got it all on there, let's record it real quick. Now I'm just going to mix everything real quick. I'm going to put something called the Mother Ducker input on the kick. And we'll talk about that later. Now normally I would use something called the Wolf compressor for this. But since we're going old school again, I'm going to try and just use what comes with NPC2, so I'm putting this on the drums just to kind of tighten everything up. Alright, our drums are done. Now it's time to find a sample. So the way that we used to do it, go down here to recent releases, view all, you're going to do packs and random, and then you just search, man. I can't tell you how many live streams I have from back in the day of just scrolling through this, looking for samples. You could also kind of just type out what you're looking for, dark pad, something like that. But this kind of, this is kind of better for if you don't really know what you're looking for. Sunshine vibes, that sounds good to me. take it back even further. Before I even had plugins, we're even going to do the bass line as a splice sample. So we just picked one out. So the sample is at 80 BPMs. So we'll split it up into its own program, chop it down, and so back to that mother ducker I was talking about earlier. We're going to put the mother ducker on this. The bass is going to duck out every time the kick hits, and we should have to decide how much. Also going to throw a PEQ 4-band on there. I just like how it helps the bass out, you know, makes it a little fatter while the ducker's is ducking it out. Okay, so that sample was in G minor. So the next thing that we're going to look for has got to be in G minor. So let's just go keys. Tuck that way back there. Might even honestly put the ducker on that too. Keep that guitar lick for like a chorus or something like that, just to kind of bring in every once in a while. Let's do one more thing just to see how it sounds. I already kind of like the vibe of the beat. I don't want it to get too crowded, but every once in a while, pad ain't a bad idea. And that is making a beat using only Splice. So subscribe to the channel for more. We're going to be sampling a bunch of vinyl as far as the eye can see, man. We ain't slowing down. I'll see y'all next time.